Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Orson Welles in an episode of The Lives of Harry Lime. This was originally broadcast April 18th, 1952. This episode entitled The Painted Smile.
Presenting Orson Welles as the Third Man. The Lives of Harry Lime. The fabulous stories of the immortal character, originally created in the story The Third Man, with zither music by Anton Karas.
I've got a story for you. A story about a canvas cloud, a tinseled world, and bloody murder. And if that wasn't enough, it all happened in Taormina, which is in Sicily. I know it happened because I saw it. Call the story The Painted Smile. Stick around. I've always had a fondness for the exception that breaks the rule. Maybe it's because I like to break rules myself. Take a smile, for instance. One of the intangibles of life, so everyone says. But what about that smile of the Cheshire Cats? That grin hung around long after Puss had vanished. You call that intangible? Like the smile I'm going to tell you about. The horrid humor of that painted smile lingered long after the man who wore it was quite dead. As I'd come to Taormina for a holiday. The circumstances were ideal. I had some extra cash in my pocket, the climate was fine, and the local police were completely disinterested in me. But I no sooner entered my room at the Santa Monica Hotel, I was testing the mattress, as a matter of fact, when a long-bladed Sicilian knife whispered past my ear and wickedly winked at me from the bedpost. Since I was naturally somewhat curious, I turned rather quickly, and standing there in the doorway was a slim man with pale brown hair, pale monkey eyes, and the face of a tragedian. Why, Tony, you old clown.
Harry, you old devil, what bring you to Taormina?
Money, old friend. The climate, a certain weariness, and this happens to be one of the last places in the world where Harry Lime is welcome. You?
Same old reason. The circus is playing here.
A circus in Sicily?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that bringing coals to Newcastle, old man?
Not everyone is laughing and happy in Sicily, and clowning is my business. I was born to make people laugh.
A clown. Yes, you were born the greatest con man of them all.
No, Harry. I have a certain talent for crime, perhaps sleight of hand, facility with a knife, but not the heart. I'm afraid I'm an honest man, Harry.
All the more reason to be my guest tonight, Tony. Share the pleasure. My first night in Taormina.
To the contrary, you shall be mine. I'll serve you Sicilian pasties for hot dogs, champagne for pink lemonade, introduce you to every freak on the Midway, and seat you in a box for the main show. How would you like that, eh?
Yes, I'd like that. But just this night, I'll step inside your canvas cloud, old man, pop the enchanted peanut in my mouth, and enter the circus heaven of youth. I believe every gilded angel and tinsel queen I see, smell the animals, walk the sawdust stairway to the stars. Yes, Tony, I'll be happy to accept your invitation to the circus. And who could ask for a better host than a clown? We left the Midway crowd, the lights and the blaring calliope. Then the growl of jungle beasts came to me. We approached a small dressing tent. Then the clown humbly called for his friend.
Nola! Nola! Are you in there?
You again, Antonio? What is it?
I want to see you.
You will see me later. Go away.
But I have a surprise for you, Nola. A wonderful surprise.
A surprise? A present, perhaps?
The canvas flap snapped back and she stepped into the yellow glare of the lamps. Nola. Hair as black as though it had been poured out of an ink bottle. Body sinuous, graceful. Like a cat's. And she was like a cat. and her ice-gray eyes flared strangely when she looked at me.
So this is your wonderful surprise, Antonio.
Nola, this is Harry Lime, my friend.
I'm always happy to meet a friend.
The way she said it, the way she was looking at me, made it seem like we were all alone. Just Nola and me. I know what kind of female. I also knew that Tony was in for a bad time. Funny thing, he knew it too. Told me about it a little later while he was putting on his clown makeup.
So you feel sorry for me, Harry?
Well, I don't feel one way or the other about anyone, but if you fancy Nola for yourself, you're a chump, old man.
I know.
Oh? And you like to be kicked in the teeth, is that it?
Look at me, my friend. What is there about me for a woman to love? There is a great deal about Nola to love.
To admire, to desire, yeah. To love,
You're forgetting something.
I am?
All clowns suffer.
Oh, yes.
Paint a smile on their face to hide a broken heart.
Ah, really, old man, don't be trite.
Nola's like a fever in the blood, a disease. She's not good for me, perhaps, but the pain of loving her is better than the ecstasy of loving any other woman.
I agree with you, Tony. You never would have made a good confidence man.
You think the clown white has gone deeper than my face? That my thinking has become as theatrical as my profession? Perhaps. But the show is about to begin. Help me with my wig, Harry.
There you are.
Am I not the funny man?
Very funny.
See you later, my friend. Now Antonio must go to clown and dance like a puppet.
While Nola pulls the strings, Laugh, clown, laugh. You poor schmoo. It wasn't a very big circus, but it looked like the greatest thing on earth to the folks in Taormina. They laughed at Tony's antics till they cried, and oohed and awed at the trapeze performers, and gasped at Nola's animal act. Then came the grand climax.
Signore e signorina, you have seen the beautiful Nola command the tigers, the pumas, the lions, like they were house kittens. Now you shall see the unbelievable. Antonio, the great clown, shall enter the cage of the black puma and make him dance.
And he did. Going into the main animal cage, Tony pantomimed his bravery to the crowd. He cracked his whip, he strutted, he proved to himself at least that he was afraid of nothing on four legs. And then a smaller cage was rolled in and opened on the main cage, and another clown in the costume of a black puma sprang inside with Tony. First my friend was terrified, then he saw the puma was as frightened as he, and they made friends and waltzed around the cage together as the audience screamed with mirth. It was as simple as that. But Tony's clowning was touched with genius. In his performance, there was all the posturing and heartbreak and fear of the world, and by conquering his fear in the shape of the puma, he put a happy ending to his story, and everybody went home happy. That was everybody but Tony. I saw him after the show waiting for Nola. She ran up from the main tent, still carrying her animal whip.
Nola!
Get out of my way.
But, Nola, I must talk
Take your
to
hands
you.
off me. Let me go.
Her whip, cruel and quick as a puma's claw, cut across his face. I could see a livid wheal rising under his clown white. But Tony took it silently. Just looked after Nola with big eyes. Then he saw me. Thanks for the show, Tony. It was swell, but the rest of the night's on me. Now let's do Taormina, Like men.
You will excuse me tonight, my friend. Tomorrow I'll come to the hotel. Tomorrow.
I went back to my monastic cell to do some thinking. I say cell, call it that, because the Hotel San Domenico, Taormina, was in the 16th century a monastery. And now in the 20th century, it's a very un-monk-like character who walked its sacred tiles and pondered on human passion. And then I had no reason not to answer the door. Yeah? Oh, hello. She was small. Very young, very dewy. You know, the moonlight for hair and stars for eyes sort of thing.
You are Mr. Harry Lime?
I am.
I am Therese.
Oh, it's enchanting.
You will invite me in. I would speak with you.
Well, I can't imagine a more satisfactory conversation.
I will sit here.
If you like. It's all very femme fatale and very intriguing, but, just how do you happen to know my name?
I asked the manager.
And they do make things easy in Taormina, don't they?
What?
It's unimportant.
I just arrived at the hotel a while ago. I am staying here, too.
Alone?
Oh, yes.
I see.
You do know Antonio Vega?
Oh, sly dog. You're another one of his girls, is that it?
I am his only girl.
Oh, of course, of course.
I am his daughter.
Oh.
The manager told me that Papa was here to see you this afternoon. He said you were his old friend. Is that so funny?
No, but don't start that again.
I came to you, Mr. Lime, because I could not find Papa. He wrote to me he was going to be here. He is a traveling salesman, you know.
Oh, no.
So when school closed for vacation, instead of staying there as usual, I thought I'd come here and surprise Papa.
Papa and me,
Hasn't he told you about me?
Yes, he... Of course.
Then you know where he is. I can go to him.
Well, as it so happens, your father's coming to the hotel tomorrow, my dear. Why don't you wait for him here and really surprise him,
What a wonderful idea. Oh, Mr. Lime, I could kiss you.
Oh, no.
April 18th, 1952, The Lives of Harry Lime on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Hi, this is Kyle Horvath with the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. If you want to get away from the big cities and get back to nature this summer, give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net. There's so much to do and see I can't mention it in 30 seconds, but check out our website and you'll see what Nevada is really all about. elinevada.net or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Although The Lives of Harry Lime was recorded in London by Harry Alan Towers, it didn't air on the BBC. Well, 13 episodes of it did. But it wasn't the first market. It was primarily in the United States, where the entire run of The Lives of Harry Lime ran. From April 18th, 1952, The Lives of Harry Lime on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Teresa didn't know her father's real profession any more than I'd known Tony had a daughter. My clown friend was beginning to interest me more and more. A man of many lives, one of those still waters run deep boys. And in spite of the sheltered life he'd lavished on Teresa, she'd walked into the finest emotional trap the devil himself could set. What to do? I breakfasted with the young lady on the terrace. Well, they're proper. They're public.
Harry, is that you? Oh, pardon me, you are busy.
Papa! Oh, Papa!
Therese!
Oh, kiss her, Tony. Go on. I'm sure I would if I had such a daughter.
Oh, it's so wonderful to see you, Papa. Be with you again.
But the kitten, you should have stayed at the school.
You are not glad to see me?
Of course, my darling. But my work, you know, I have so little time. That is why I always visited you instead of you coming to see me.
If it's only one little minute of the day, it's worth it, Papa. Just to be near you.
Don't have a heart, Tony. She'll have me in tears.
Your cheek. Oh, Papa. What happened to your poor cheek? That terrible scar.
It was an accident, Therese. Another reason why you must not stay. It is impossible. You understand the situation, Harry.
Sure,
What
old man,
situation? Why should not a daughter be with her papa?
It is impossible. You will go back to school like a good girl, yes? Or to the relatives in Naples.
No!
Therese?
No! No, no, no! I will never leave you, even if you don't want me around.
Well, just who won that round, Tony, old man?
What can I do, my friend?
Why not tell her the truth?
And bring her shame? Therese thinks of me as a businessman, dignified, honorable. What would she say if her father told her that he was a clown?
You're going to have to tell her something.
I said I was an honest man, my friend. That isn't true.
What do? Pick the pockets of the other clowns?
I smuggle emeralds.
Again?
Smuggle emeralds. It was for her, Harry, Therese. How could I support her in such a fine fashion, good clothes, private schools, on the earnings of a clown in a one-ring circus?
I hadn't thought about it much. Didn't even know your kitten existed, you see.
That is one of many things I haven't told you, my old friend. Forgive me.
Well, forgiven, but the emeralds.
You see, I've been very successful in the smuggling trade, but very careful. Over the years, I've saved a small fortune. And now I want to ask you a favor.
For the fortune? Anything, old man, for the fortune.
It's for Therese when she reaches 21. If anything should happen to me before, see that she gets it.
Now, why be so morbid?
The way things are lately, you know, Harry, with my life, with Nola. I think my luck's changed.
Well, how do you know I won't keep the fortune for myself, old man?
The same way I know you won't inform on me to the police.
Yeah. You figure this pot's too smart to call the kettle black, is that it?
That's one way of putting it. Come to the circus tomorrow night, Harry. I'll show you where my savings are hidden.
And Therese?
Therese, I will think of something. Better her heart should break a little now than learn the truth about me and then...
I'll meet you tomorrow night, Tony. I didn't like the way things were going. Not that Harry Lyon's averse to learning the exact location of a man's fortune, but this particular collection of moolahs seemed to have entirely too many strings attached to it. However, I decided to let tomorrow take care of itself. I was deep in the arms of Morpheus when... Yes. What the devil you mean, waking a man up in the middle of the night?
That is Mr. Lime, Mr. Harry Lime.
Who's calling?
This is Signor Borgia, Questore of Taormina, Department of Public Safety.
The police?
And it is not midnight, Mr. Lime, but 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, sir.
You will do me the great favor of coming to my office within the hour.
Well, I'll do nothing of the sort, Borgia. As I told you...
You will come, or you will become a fool. You are already under surveillance.
Well, I'll do you the great favor, Questore Borgia.
Your generosity is exceeded only by your wisdom, Signor. Within the hour.
I never argue with a policeman over the telephone, beyond a certain point. And when he bears the name of Borgia, well, when in Taormina, do what the Taormaniacs do, I suppose. I visited the Questore. I found him a small, alert man, all spit and polish. He eyed me like a hungry robin views a fat worm.
Sit down, Signor Lime. You are a friend of Antonio Vegas?
Oh, Tony must have many friends, I should think.
Too many. At one time, this Vegas was in your profession. A confident man.
Tony's a good clown.
And a smart one. His buffoon makeup hides more than the proverbial broken heart, doesn't it?
Does it?
Vegas heads a smuggling ring, emeralds. Are you trying to tell me you know nothing about the traffic?
Well, I've never dabbled in emeralds, Borgia, old man. They're too hot for my blood.
You refuse to admit that you are in partnership with Vegas?
If what you said is true, well, I wish I was.
Do not try to warn your friend. He will never leave Taormina.
Well, there are worse places to live.
Good morning, Signor Lime.
Good morning. Does that mean I can go now?
It does.
Well, am I still under surveillance?
Yes. Why?
Well, my holiday mood, that's all, old man. I hope your bloodhounds are broad-minded. Good morning. How is it that I always get into these things? Here I was about to do Tony a favor. There was no profit in it for me at all. Well, I went to his dressing room that night, and he showed me his fortune, all tucked away under a false bottom of his costume trunk, and all in American bills of high denomination. It's a pity to see it lying there, just doing nothing.
Now that you know where the money is hidden, I'll replace the bottom.
Tony, old boy, I still say I'm not in this. It's not my kind of caper. Send the nest egg to the relatives in Naples,
I don't trust them.
Oh,
you know how it is with good people.
Yeah.
Sudden wealth may change their natures completely, whereas you...
Say no more, old man.
And here is something else for you to see. Hidden in this bladder I use for one of my props.
Emeralds. Perfectly cut. Some of them are as big as robin's eggs.
I deal in nothing but the finest merchandise.
Evidently. Who's your fence?
Lazzetti.
Huh? The best.
I find him to be the best.
Tony, you're one of the few men I've ever underestimated.
Who would suspect the clown?
Yes, but I must warn you, Tony, that there are some who...
You say Mr. Vegas is in this tent?
Si, signorina.
Therese.
Yeah, she must have followed me here.
Quick, help me hide these.
Yeah.
Papa, I have found you.
Yes, Therese, you have found me. And now you know what your father really is.
He's the best.
A clown. I think it is too wonderful. Oh, Papa, did you think I would look down on you because you were a clown in a circus? It is much finer than a traveling salesman. You are angry because I found you out?
Oh, why should he be?
What can I do, Harry?
Well, I guess give her a pass to the show. I'll take charge of her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. What can I do?
That's not...
Am I intruding, Antonio?
Nola.
April 18th, 1952, The Lives of Harry Lime on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. The conclusion of The Lives of Harry Lime and another yours truly, Johnny Dollar story. But first, these important words.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Orson Welles in The Lives of Harry Lime, The Painted Smile, from April 18th, 1952.
There were no introductions. I took Therese out of there as soon as possible, but before we left, I caught Nola's eyes on the emeralds. They narrowed like a cat's. The lady knew her way around gems as well as men, and that bothered me. The climate of Taormina had suddenly become very unhealthy. I would have quit the place that night if Borgia's bloodhounds hadn't been guarding every point of exit.
Why is Papa going into that animal cage, Mr. Lime?
Oh, it's nothing. He's pretending he's a cat trainer, like Nola. See how brave he is.
Oh, how funny he is.
Yes.
How wonderful is my papa.
Oh, that's great. Tony's funniest routine began. He was giving the greatest performance of all his life because his daughter was in the audience. The puma cage was wheeled up to the main cage and the door opened. Out came the puma. But no costume clown this one. A very large, very live, and very vicious cat sprang into Tony's cage. It stood there a moment, lashing its tail and blinking in the lights. In that moment, before it sprang at my old friend, I saw Nola's face watching from the tent entrance. Her eyes wide, her lips drawn back in an animal smile. Her hands stretched before her like claws. So she were about to attack.
No, help!
It was over very quickly. For once I was glad to see the police. The puma was shot and killed. Nola was apprehended. And what was left of Antonio Vegas was taken to the hospital tent. As I said, he found a way out of Taormina. The hard way.
No, don't cry, kitten. It was an accident.
No, it was no accident. Like the scar on your cheek. She did it. She did it.
I did nothing. It was an accident. Somebody switched the cages.
What do you mean?
Well, Questore Borgia, I think I can prove differently. It wasn't an accident at all.
He lies?
Antonio Vegas is my friend, Senora. You can understand that word, friend. Why should I lie? I saw you switch the cages deliberately.
No, I did not. I did not.
And I know why you did.
Oh, Harry.
It was because of jealousy.
Jealous? Of that clown?
Stop it! Stop it! You shall not laugh at my papa!
Your papa?
Thank you. Thank you, Harry.
And now, Harry Lime.
I think somebody before me once pointed out that women are very curious creatures. You take Lola, for instance. Lola was quite prepared to murder the man she loved, just out of a fit of jealousy. Some women, of course, indulge in a more refined and less dangerous form of vengeance. They arrange matters for the men they love so that life just seems like death. I sometimes wonder what life would be like without women. So quiet and peaceful. And so very, very dull.
By the way, no cast notes on any of these Lives of Harry Lime shows. The only one we know of is Orson Welles, because he's the star. April 18th, 1952, The Lives of Harry Lime on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
For what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. You got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. And now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 3 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Shepherd Matter. This episode originally broadcast April 18th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar. This is Miss Streeter at Dr. Shepard's office.
Yes?
Dr. Shepard gave me your hotel number. He said you were to come in for a head x-ray.
Let me talk to the doctor about that.
Well, he's out on house calls right now, Mr. Dollar. He'll be back late this afternoon. He seemed very concerned over
He ought to be. A friend of his banged me on the head with a gun this morning. That's why the x-ray.
Well, could you possibly come in and have it made? Doctor was most insistent.
All right, Miss Streeter, I'll be right over.
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Richard Porter, 480 Webster Boulevard, Providence, Rhode Island. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Shepard matter. Expense account item 4, $1 cab fare from my hotel to Richard Porter's office. Porter was sympathetic.
You know, I feel very responsible for this, Mr. Dollar. I hired you to look into all this.
It'll go away. I've been hit on the head before. Hey, do you have anything to drink in here?
Oh, sure. You never can tell when a snake will come up and bite you. Yeah, here you are.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
I suppose you came in to give me your expense sheet now that it's all settled.
Not exactly, Mr. Porter. It isn't settled for me.
Well, certainly you know I'll assume any medical expenses involved here.
No, I'm not talking about that, Mr. Porter. Sit down. Now, look, there's something going on here, and we might as well have it out. You hired me to investigate a client who wanted to buy $80,000 worth of straight life insurance, right?
Yes.
Now, that client explained why he called for that insurance. Not to my satisfaction, but he explained it. He said a man named Paul Forbes had threatened his life. Threatened it because Dr. Shepard had advised Forbes' wife to get a divorce.
I know you didn't believe this, but the facts now seem to bear it out.
I went over to see Forbes this morning to talk to him about his threats. I managed to get my name out, and Forbes attacked me, so I got this. Then Forbes ran out. Mrs. Forbes and a servant in the house gave me first aid. All the time they were doing it, they were apologizing for Forbes and his violence. Finally, Dr. Shepard came in, called the police, and told them to pick up Forbes.
And the police will pick him up if they haven't already, and Dr. Shepard will prefer charges.
And that won't be that, Mr. Porter. Not as far as I'm concerned. Dr. Shepard's story is still leaky.
I'm sorry, but I think it has more credence than ever in view of what's happened. You told me yourself his wife and the servant admitted Forbes had threatened Dr. Shepard's life.
Oh, I believe that part. But Shepard lies so much you can get to believing him.
What lies, for heaven's sake?
Oh, for one thing, his reason for not calling the police right away. I mean about how delicate Mrs. Forbes' condition was. She looked pretty healthy to me this morning. Another thing, he described Forbes as a man with homicidal tendencies. Now, Dr. Shepard's supposed to be an expert on behavior. And he thought that if I talked to Forbes, I might settle the matter peaceably. But Forbes attacked me as soon as I told him my name. I didn't get a chance to talk.
Well, Dr. Shepard has no control
He felt pretty sure I could talk to Forbes. If you don't like that, let me go on. What reason did Forbes have to hit me? He didn't know me from a load of coal. Somebody put him up to it.
Who?
Now, who do you think?
Shepard, for some reason?
Shepard was the only one who knew I was going right over there.
But why?
I don't know.
What would he gain?
My business for an x-ray.
You're joking now.
I suppose I am, but I got a headache. I feel off.
Oh, here. How about Mrs. Forbes?
Oh,
here.
Thanks. Oh, she seemed like a genuine enough person. Not sick the way I expected her to be. Someone slugged her recently. There was a bruise under one eye.
Shepard said her husband was an erratic, ruthless, violent man.
Well, look, I'm stubborn, Mr. Porter. I still think Shepard's been lying to me. If for no other reason than I think I know the breed.
What's all this got to do with the insurance application?
Well, that's another thing I don't know. Expense account item 5, $3 cab fare to Dr. Shepard's one-story building to have my head x-ray. Shepard was still out, but Miss Streeter did the honors, almost in silence. Outside of sit still and hold it, nothing much was said.
Well, the picture's okay, Mr. Dollar. I looked at it. I didn't see anything wrong. Of course, the doctor will call you when he's had a chance to see it.
Swell.
You must have got quite a blow. That's a nasty bruise you have.
Oh, it's pretty good, all right. He swung his gun hard.
Oh, the doctor will be back about mid-afternoon. He can call you at your hotel?
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming in.
I want to ask you a question, Miss Streeter.
Yes?
Are you in love with him?
What?
Are you in love with Dr. Shepard?
Well, that's rather my own business, isn't it? Unless, of course, in your investigation of whatever you're investigating, for some reason I'm under your scrutiny.
Well, I suppose it is, and I suppose I can take that to say yes.
I'd become rather angry with you, Mr. Dollar, but frankly, you seem rather ridiculous.
I suppose so. He's a liar, isn't he? I mean, Shepard. One more question. I told you on the phone a friend of Dr. Shepard's did this to my head. Now, did you ever ask me who that friend was? Well, I'd think you'd be curious about a thing like that, Miss Streeter.
I think I have a great deal of work to do, Mr. Dollar.
Expense account item 6, another $3, some more cab fare. This time back to my hotel where I picked up my rented car, filled it with gasoline, item 7, $5.30, and drove out to Pawtucket. At the home of Mrs. Clara Shepard, I explained my name and business to an elderly man who answered the door. He asked me to wait a moment, then returned and said Mrs. Shepard would see me. She was a bright-looking, gray-haired woman in her mid-60s, elegantly groomed and obviously well cared for. We went through the politenesses, then got down to business.
My son applied for $80,000 worth of life insurance and named me beneficiary.
That's about it.
I wonder what he's up to.
So do we.
You mean so do I. You don't trust anyone, do you, Mr. Dollar?
He said his life had been threatened. He told me he wanted to make certain you were well taken care of in case anything happened to him.
Oh.
He was lying, wasn't he?
I haven't seen him, talked to him, even had a Christmas card from him in 3 years. Maybe he does worry about his poor old mother now and then. I'm flattered.
What you're saying about him isn't very flattering.
Oh, I don't think Charles ever thought much of me as a mother. Still doesn't, I'm sorry to admit. But then I don't think too much of him as a son. So there we are. Is it too early for a cocktail, Mr. Dollar?
How do you explain him already having a $20,000 policy on himself and wanting to kick it up to $100,000? You the beneficiary.
No explanation. That's why I suggested a cocktail. To my friends here, Charles is a successful doctor in Providence who calls me faithfully every day, sends me gifts, and is always assured that I am well and happy and occupied in my old age. I guess I like you, Mr. Dollar, perhaps because, with all your gruffness, you might be nice to your mother. No, Charles and I aren't close. Never have been. I can tell you this. I don't need his closeness, at least not in a financial way. If Charles were to die and I received $100,000, it would mean a rather difficult tax problem. If he were to die, part of me would die too. I'd like you to have just one martini with me. And then you may go, Mr. Dollar.
I had the one martini with a tall, stately woman who struggled against tears. It was an old struggle with her, increasingly difficult, I guessed, as the years kept on. We talked no more of her son, or the insurance, or the threat on his life. I left there about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I drove back over to Providence and got to Dr. Shepard's office about 5:45. A broad-shouldered man in a tweed suit was in the reception room. He got to his feet when I walked in.
Dr. Shepard?
No. Don't I know you?
I was thinking the same. Wait a minute. Yeah, your name is Dollar. You're an insurance investigator.
Yeah, you're
Phil Crosby,
yeah.
Providence Police.
Well, I met you in New Hartford once. Oh, I didn't know you were down here.
Hey, you must be the one. This Dr. Shepard called downtown about a threat in his life and said an insurance investigator had been slugged trying to help him out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, where is he?
I don't know.
I rang that buzzer. There's no one around at all. What's this all about?
Well, a man named Paul Forbes threatened the doctor's life. He slugged me. You got a pickup out on him yet?
No, not yet. I'm trying to pin the doctor down all day long. Been out on house calls, emergencies, everything else. We have to get his signature on a complaint.
I thought that was all taken care of by now.
Well, hello.
Oh, hello. Hello, Mr. Dollar.
Hello, Miss Streeter. This is Phil Crosby from the police department.
Police?
I'd like to see Dr. Shepard, miss.
Is anything the matter?
Just want to see him.
Oh, goodness, he was here 10 minutes ago. He sent me over to the pharmacy to pick up these things. Oh.
What?
We had an emergency. 1213 Putnam Street.
Got a note from him?
Yes.
May I see it, please? There's no name on this, Miss Streeter. You recognize the address at all?
No, I don't. Doctor wouldn't take a random emergency unless it were very unusual.
This might be unusual, Phil.
This is down by the water. How bad off do you think Forbes is?
Mad, had a gun, plenty rough. I rode down in the police car with Phil Crosby. I had a feeling about the acuteness of that emergency. As a matter of fact, I had a feeling about the acuteness of everything that had happened that day, from the time a half-crazed man had slugged me with a gun. The feeling was heavier than ever when we hit the neighborhood.
Come on.
All right.
Wait.
How what?
1213 Putnam Street. That'd have to be that vacant lot over there. This is 1240 here. The rest belongs to the warehouse.
Yeah. Phil.
Huh?
That car empty on the plates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Dr. Shepard's car.
Motor's still warm.
Must be around here somewhere looking for the address.
That's a dead end there.
I better call in for some help. Fog's coming in if he's wandering around here.
Yeah. Phil Crosby went off to find a telephone and request help. I stood by Dr. Shepard's car, waiting and listening and smoking. Nothing happened. No one cried out. No guns went off. Then Crosby drove up in the police car.
Come on, report's in.
A report was in, all right. We drove 2 blocks down the street where a small, curious crowd of people had already gathered in the cheerless fog. A uniformed man from the Harbor Division was standing over what appeared to be a bundle of clothes lying in a heap. We bent over it, and Phil looked up at me with a question mark.
That Shepard, Johnny?
Yeah, that's him.
Yep. I'd say he's been dead less than half an hour. Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a liar's still lying, even though he's dead. Join us, won't you, and I'll tell you all about it. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
And just like that, Parley Bear written out of the episode. April 18th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please thank this radio station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Also, all of our shows are available on demand at a number of places. So if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. You can find Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, even Facebook. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You can also find the shows at my webpage, classicradio.stream. In addition to learning more about our classic radio collecting, you can find links to our social media where you can find our shows, and you can also contact me through classicradio.stream. classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.